So I'm back, man. I had a not a hiatus, because I'm always on my spiritual shit, man. That's never put off to the side. But recording videos ain't spiritual. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. This is very human. This is very mundane. And as I mentioned earlier, this is something that I do that, in all honesty, it don't help me out. It just doesn't, you know. And it has a small chance of helping me out, and it can help me out, but there's so much more potential for it to reach my ego, and it can be completely counterproductive to what I'm doing. But real quick, I just wanted to talk about what I've been dealing with. I've been dealing with, you know, honesty. You know, we as a society are so used to lying to ourselves. We're so used to acting as if things are one way when they're really not. And we turn off our senses to what's real just so they can be approved or verified by other people who are on the same shit mentally. So you got a whole bunch of people that aren't honest enough to sit and say, hey, this is where I am in life. I need to improve. All of that stopping because of the fear of looking bad, per se. The fear of looking like the nigga that don't know what you talking about, that don't know what you have, that don't have it all together. And that's just fucking people up. That mentality is why people are not studying. That's why people are denying blatant information. They're blatantly denying information that can save their lives right now. Everything I say on these videos, you niggas talk about rabbit holes. You ain't even got to go on real rabbit holes to at least conceptualize a lot of the things that I'm saying. You don't even have to, you know what I'm saying? You really don't even have to be on it like that to conceptualize. But we avoid the truth, because when you accept the truth in one area and you actively work on that area, it forces you to accept truths in all areas. And the honest reality is a lot of people are not ready to be woken up. They don't want to be woken up. They like that grumpy motherfucker that you wake up a little too early. And it's like, I would love to let y'all get sleep, and I'm not going to keep shaking niggas up. But I'm going to try my best to wake you up before the fire hit the door. You know what I'm saying? So when we're not honest with ourselves, like for me in particular, when I'm talking about the spirituality, so I've been conscious, you know, theoretically conscious. I mean, well, shit, if you consider consciousness being pro-black, then I've been conscious since, you know, a little nigga. But if you talking about, like, and I don't consider pro-black being politically aware, I don't consider that consciousness, because now you can be the dumbest, the most uninformed of niggas and still have a half complete argument to go and give other niggas reasons to argue and never get, you know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on now. But I had to notice, if I can be honest with myself, what can stop me? Because what's going on is we all explain this shit. We all have different points of views and different ways to explain it and look at it. And as we know, as we should know, that's just a result of us trying to form reality in a way that we can bring it in more easily. And that's the first thing you have to understand. Because the truth is that there's one truth. We might call it one thing, we might say it's another, but when we all look outside into nature, we see the same shit. The same one thing is going on. You know what I'm saying? That's what reality is. So understanding what's actually going on from an objective standpoint, one thing. And two, understanding where you are. Like I was saying before, if I would have continued on my path, like, I'm gonna be real, I wasted a lot of time on my spiritual shit, because I've been what was I saying? I've been active in the occult realm, actually trying spells and studying occult knowledge since about 2015. Bro, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't feel like I really started doing anything until 2020. I'm keeping 100 with you. And low key, now that I'm in 2021, I feel like I wasn't really doing nothing in 2020. And it's supposed to feel like that. And the reason why it feels like that is because I'm constantly progressing. I'm not lying to myself. The moment I realized that, hey, Nick, you're not really as knowledgeable, or you're not really as tapped in, or you're not really as calm in your mind as you think you are. You know, because it's easy to look on the internet and see a whole bunch of fake it ass, do nothing ass niggas and make me feel good about myself. Like I'm doing something, like, you know, make me feel good about my ego, like I'm better than everybody else and blah, 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 and this, that, and the third. When the truth is that if everybody around me ain't on the shit and I'm the only one on the shit, that means I'm not attracting people that are on that same wave. If I'm attracting experiences with people who's not on the shit and I'm always, you know, I'm using them to boost me up, that means that my knowledge ain't really what I thought it was. You feel what I'm saying? So, and it takes a lot for a nigga like me that's, you know, I've always been intellectual. Since a young nigga, the teachers rolled my dick about that shit. You know, the entire elementary school. By the time I got to middle school, you couldn't tell me nothing, and you still can't. You know what I'm saying? Just because they hyped up my intellectualism so fucking much, to where shit, they even tried to use it on some black Borgie shit, and they tried to make me, like, you know, I would get pulled into the office, and, you know, I played football, so I might have like homeboys that's, you know, wilding, doing whatever, niggas from the hood, niggas from the suburbs, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they like to separate me from the people. They kind of tried to like say like, you not like them type shit. And even though I hated that, I detested that, you know, I used to come home mad as fuck talking to my mama about shit like that. But I had to be honest with myself and say, hey man, even though you resisted, you're still embedded with some of these superior concepts because they've been drilled in your head as a young, impressionable little ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things like that. If we just step back and be honest with ourselves, you take a whole bunch of fucking stress out the way. I'm telling you. Because you're going to have to face that truth eventually. They talking about the truth comes to light. When you talking about you dealing with another ego, that's a lie anyway. That's always going to be a lie. Final truth comes down to an agreement and an understanding and a realization that you have within yourself, for yourself, from yourself. Period. That's what truth is. So one of the ways that I've been doing, and I started doing this years ago, but I be forgetting shit just like everybody, you know what I'm saying? I be forgetting shit, and, you know, every now and then you remember a technique, a meditation technique that you used to do that really was doing some shit. So I'm gonna share that with y'all. So real quick, man, the strongest mantra you can do, the strongest mantra, especially in English language, they say it's I am, which is arguable. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that. I am, I-am, sounds very close to AOM, A-O-M, which are the three vowel sounds from the back of your throat to the middle of your throat into your mouth. It goes from the back to the front. So, and that's just Om with the A in the front. You know what I'm saying? But a real simple day-to-day mantra that you can use to keep your energy open and receptive to honesty is the word yes. Y-E-S. Y-E-S. I'm telling you why. Because Yes is the most receptive word in the English language. Period. So after you do an I am affirmation, receive that shit in by not only saying the word yes, feel the word yes. When you say yes, and then in a genuine situation, even in a fake situation right now, when you repeat it in your head, you feel a feeling of receptivity. Your heart opens up, your stomach, your solar plexus opens. You know what I'm saying? You start becoming receptive to what's around you. Just say yes. So like a lot of times I would just say yes in my head as a mantra after I've already, if I'm trying to manifest something, I'm trying to, get back in touch with what the fuck is going on. Truth. We all get to these points where we don't feel like we connected with the energy like that. That's because we disconnected from the truth. And shit, that's what, one of my I would say mentors in this game. Like, he not that old, but I learned a lot from how he moved in his life. He bears the fruits from the way he moves. The nigga has a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not as much of a mentor of him as I am of his energy. You know what I'm saying? So when he told me that, cause I don't usually get verbal information from him. It's really just an understanding that I get from this nigga. But when he said that, cause I asked him straight up, like, bro, like how do you get in touch so easily? And I'm not afraid to ask a question. I'll ask a beginner's question in a heartbeat. Go to a store, a magic shop or whatever. I'll ask them, what would you do with this black salt? Or what would you do with this powder oil or this spell oil? What would you do with this? Just to get more ideas, to step back into the idea of the food. So that's what it comes down to, man. Stepping back into the energy of the food, the tarot card. Now, one of my old videos that I deleted, I said, a technique that you can use tarot cards, and you can literally use just the tarot cards to significantly awaken your consciousness. Now, I will warn you that shit is a trip. So, it gets very involved, and you're doing shit, and you're moving from here to here, and especially, because you learn the tarot cards, and the next thing you know is you start incorporating them into the tree of life. And you start working with the Kabbalah, and 5-6 years later, if you're not doing it right, and you got the wrong mentality, you got to remember with all this spiritual shit, everything you have, need, or want, or will have, need, or want, or whatever is right here with you now. So whenever you're traveling on the tree of life, you're always traveling to now. Always traveling to now. So, lose the idea of trying to complete something just to say that you completed it, or lose the idea of trying to say that, oh, I've studied this and this for this many years just because it sounds good. That goes back to what I said. That ain't honest. That's not honest, and it'll run you the fuck crazy. It will run you the fuck crazy. Anybody knows that's taking psychedelics what a bad trip is. And to me, a bad trip is simply when a motherfucker is trying to control something or find an end to something that cannot be ended or controlled. Like, my favorite bad trip is zooming in to the thread of a blanket or whatever, and trying to go so far. And when I zoom in and I see the holes, I'll add more holes. I'll add more lines and more stitching. And I zoom in more and zoom in more with the futile goal of trying to get to the point where there's never any space between those threads. Now, we know that's not going to happen. Go on a trip like that over and over again, but you will feel like you've been to hell and back. And we torture ourselves with that same dishonesty in our lives constantly. So I encourage y'all, use the word yes. Let that word bring you in the moment. Let that word motherfucking Man, I said all this shit. I'm rambling like a motherfucker, and I know niggas not really gonna listen to this shit, but what the fuck ever. Use that word yes, man, and see what it does for you. Fuck what I'm saying. Forget what I'm saying. I don't have the answers for you. I have the answers I have the shit that works for me and the shit that I'm doing. And at the end of the day, I don't care who they are. They could be fucking Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, Deborah Blair, fucking Conjure Queen, anybody you can think of. Hell, it could be me, your homeboy down the street, your teacher, all of that shit. Everybody's always gonna have some slick shit to, well, not slick shit, some clever shit to say. Everybody's always gonna feel like they know the best. Everybody's always gonna feel, you might hear two completely composing arguments from Bobby Hemmett and Phil Valentine, but both of them motherfuckers are saying it in a way that's very, very convincible. It makes hella sense. No matter which one, you know what I'm saying, whichever one you watching at the moment, it makes the most sense. And that's just proof that ain't no experts in this shit, my nigga. Ain't no experts. Figure out what the fuck you need to be doing. Get you a routine of what you need to be doing. You know what I'm saying? I said niggas don't need to be working with altars and blah, blah, blah. And obviously I was exaggerating, you know, because I still work with the altar. I'm just moving away from it. But also, shit, if that's not something that you feel like you need to do or want to do, don't do it. Hell, this spiritual shit, if you feel like this shit is too spooky and blah, 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 don't do it. It is what it is. Do whatever you need to do for your life, but that's the key. Be honest with yourself. Be honest. Because at the end of the day, true honesty, when you follow down that path, you can't avoid the occult. Because that's what the occult means. It means the hidden culture. So you being honest about yourself, about what you suppress on a daily basis, that is the occult. So I encourage y'all, man, really pour into y'all's honesty, man. But shit, y'all have a good day. Fuck.